y'all see that weird light last night?
What weird light?
The wind was blowing all crazy. Starbuck was freaked out and barking.
Congratulations on this. I know that we have seen dinosaurs on the big screen before, and I would imagine for each of you, you had those moments where you thought, oh, it'd be cool to be in one of these. What was the biggest surprise for each of you, going from maybe a fan of a film with a dinosaur in it to actually acting in a film with dinosaurs in it?
Well, one of the things that changed for me from when I signed on, there was talk of the dinosaurs being practical.
Right.
And it was going to be a combination of a little bit of computers, but practical dinosaurs. And then David, who has become so well known for his inventive camera techniques that build suspense without actually showing anything. It was going to be kind of a combination of all those. And then between that conversation and the start of filming, the practical dinosaurs were deemed too expensive, and it was going to be David's filmmaking and computers. Now, one of the fun things that resulted in that was all of the sequences that involved like dinosaurs impacting a house or, attacking me in the kitchen, that had to be choreographed. So that way the computer dinosaur was going to be reacting to a live performance. And when we did the car sequence where we get knocked into the house, that really happened. That was a practical effect. So they really, hurtled a car inside of this house. And I just remember getting to the end of the first take and they just went, it didn't quite do what we wanted. And they built the entire house in half an hour. And then they shoved another car through it. It was perfect. And that's what's in the movie. So just like discovering a new way of filmmaking was so fun for me.
Water's not working.
Looks like the whole neighborhood's lost power.
Ewan, this next question might be for you because I'm a year older than you, I think. And I know you're younger than both of us. I loved the 80s, and I feel sorry for kids these days that don't get to grow up in the 80s. It's so different nowadays. This movie has so much nostalgia, but I'm curious, what's the thing from the 80s that you missed the most, loved the most?
Yeah, the freedom of not having a phone in your pocket, the freedom of just being in the world, having to deal with, as I was born in 71, so I had my teenage years through the 80s, and it was so much. I was so lucky to grow up in a small town in Scotland with total freedom. We'd take off on our bicycles in the morning and we'd come back at night. And that, the day was our own, really. And we built dens in the woods and we cycled all over the place. It just always on. I'm sure that's why I do my motorbike trips now, because I never quite got over the thrill of just being out on two wheels and bombing around the place. But that's on summers in Scotland on a bicycle and with freedom, it was great.
I think that our neighborhood, our house, our whole street has moved.
One of the things I was stuck on, there is a scene in this movie where, I'm a big photo taker. I will do anything for a good photo. I will risk my life. I will push people out of the way. I'll do whatever it takes. And there's a scene in here where you take a photo that, maybe isn't the smartest thing to do given what's happening. What is the best photo that each of you has taken where maybe not necessarily the best time to do it, maybe a little risky, but you're doing it for that photo?
I think when your kid's falling asleep, you're going to risk it. And you know that like there's a chance they could wake up and you could start the cycle again, but there's something about them that's so cute. And they're only the age that they are for such a short amount of time. So I think like risking waking up a child or like distracting a child from what they're doing to try to get that, like capture that magic.
Love it.
I took a photograph. I started learning paragliding. And the first time I was gliding like 1,000 feet above the ground, I took out my phone out of my pocket to take like probably a really unwise move. But it's a good picture, I'll tell you.
I have to tell you, I'll never paraglide, but that's probably something I would do.
Oh my God, run!